boy. So we're going to try this again. Sorry about that. My incredible 14-year-old daughter started to play her electric guitar right as I started to record. So I ended that stream and here we are back trying again. She's actually getting pretty good, but yeah, we just had our wires crossed on that. Forgive us. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Verde Live Show. It is a weekly talk show that we put on our YouTube channel, the Verde Brand Communications channel, where we take the news headlines and make them relevant to specialty business and brand leaders. What headlines are you asking about? Well, media, marketing, retail, consumer behavior. Those are kind of the areas we like to touch on. And we definitely like to pick and choose the best headlines out there and make them relevant to our specialty brands that we serve and retailers within Verde's sphere. And it's really important that we do this because ultimately there's a little bit of a news desert right now going on. So my name's Kristin Carpenter. I'm the CEO and founder of Verde Brand Communications. I launched the Channel Mastery podcast about 3 years ago, which is Verde's podcast, channelmastery.com and verdepr.com. And I also created and launched with my team the Multi-Channel Marketing Academy. So this show is airing on the 19th of August, Wednesday. And in just under a month, we're going to be opening the registration again for the second cohort of the Academy. You can check that out at channelmastery.com or verdepr.com. I think it's channelmastery.com/course, but no, in the description for this video, everything will be there for you. All of the links that I mentioned will be there. It may take us a little bit to get them there, like a half an hour or so, but they will be there today. All right. So I need to issue a slight warning here today to everybody because we're diving into a very sensitive topic, TikTok. And obviously, we're also going to be hitting e-commerce and trends in the holiday seasons, like your consumer on the holidays, right? Your shopper on the holidays. What is that going to look like this year? But we're starting off by giving just a quick primer and overview on TikTok. So I brought my tinfoil hat. I am a little bit nervous about talking about TikTok because it's quite a politicized topic right now. Obviously, it's in the middle of negotiations for being purchased. It has election ties. And I really thought that this tinfoil hat could protect me. And I am not sponsored by the company that makes this hat, even though I wish I was. But I wanted to just first of all call out Anne Mazenga from the OmniTalk blog, the OmniTalk podcast, because she is the one who really introduced the concept of wearing a tinfoil hat while you're talking about Amazon. And I just decided that I should extend that to TikTok. And it says right here, this is for humans. You're supposed to replace it after 6 weeks, which I love. And it's not just for nuts, it's for humans. But they also have a tinfoil hat for cats. I don't know if you can see that, but you really do need to check this out and get your own tinfoil hat. This is a real thing. I got it at Cactus Records right on Main Street up in Bozeman, Montana, when I was dropping Tobin off for college recently. Love Bozeman, Montana, by the way. All right, I digress. While you can't order your own or your cat's tinfoil hat by looking in the caption for this YouTube video, you can again find all of the links that I talk about, including links to the Verde PR website and the Channel Mastery website and our course platform. All right, so let's dive right into TikTok. It is a hugely popular social media platform, as you know. My 14-year-old daughter, the electric guitar player, is pretty obsessed with it, and she's very proud to be a card-carrying TikTok member. I have other nieces and nephews who are super active on the platform. My niece, Kendall, has, I think, over 40,000 followers. She's pretty incredible. And it is by far the fastest growing app in the world with more than 2 billion downloads and counting. It has 800 million monthly active users, and it's super popular with teens, and almost 70% of its users are between the ages of 13 and 24 years old. So the app has gotten a lot of attention from President Trump because I think he's having a hard time controlling it. Apple and Facebook and Microsoft are obviously fighting over it. And, it's just the subject of so much in news headlines. And I wanted to address it here with you, Channel Masters and Verde fans, because ultimately a lot of our brands are like, should we or shouldn't we be on there? Ultimately, I think that it really depends on where your exact target avatar or your target shopper or your target consumer is. And that is really the name of the game today and what we teach in the academy. You have to know exactly who you're selling to exactly who you're selling to today and be incredibly targeted in terms of how you're trying to be discovered by that person and nurture that person and bring them through the research and validation phase of their journey online before they convert, whether it's joining your list or buying something from you. But today, with e-commerce being growing at the rate that it is, and the fact that the transaction is happening online, as is purchase validation because of COVID and the habits that have developed around that with consumers, you really do have to consider exactly where your avatar is. What channels do they prefer? If it is somebody who is younger, perhaps in that age group that we just talked about for TikTok, then heck yeah, you should be on it. I will say for all marketers, it's not a bad idea to maybe run some experiments on it or set up a channel, because at this phase of a social platform where it really is starting to take off, or maybe I should put on my tinfoil hat. I'm not sure. Um, you really want to maybe land grab some discovery there, because marketers haven't gone in and ruined it yet. And yes, I'm kind of talking about myself. But point being is check it out, play around with it. Don't go completely like cannonball into the deep end unless it's one of the channels that your target consumer or shopper prefers. And know that we teach everything there is to know about this in the academy in terms of how to be online, what channels to choose, just really how to be remarkable to today's consumer as they continue to evolve and as they continue to really change their behavior preferences or whatever their channels that they're preferring online. Their consumer behavior will continue to change, especially as we go through the election and through Cyber Monday, Black Friday, the holidays, Q1 of next year. It's definitely this change that we're seeing right now and living through is not over, not anywhere close to being over. But just know that obviously Facebook, which owns Instagram, just launched Reels, Reels. You could basically Google that, TechCrunch, Social Media Examiner, tons of different sites have stories about that. They only have a 15-second video right now, which I'm sure will be expanding, whereas TikTok, you can go as long as a minute. TikTok has better algorithms. They have a wonderful For You page feature. So it really isn't apples to apples right now, but it's interesting that Instagram just launched that because they're seeing the functionality of it be super important. And that's another reason that I think it's important for us to be looking at this as specialty brand leaders. Um, yeah, so we'll be watching that, and we're also going to watch how it continues to evolve through the election. I will put a link to the podcast from the Social Media Examiner, where they basically did a pretty in-depth review of Instagram Reels and talked a lot about the strengths of TikTok, etc. So there's another great article we pulled from HubSpot that's also in the caption as well. All right. So I have some really, really interesting stuff to share with you with consumer behavior trends in retail. Um, we have been doing a lot of research, and we do every single week now through, we provide a report for snowsports.org, the SIA website, every other week. So one is dropping tomorrow, the 20th of August. Every other week, we post a feature there in the newsletter that basically talks about consumer behavior trends as they pertain to specialty snow sports market. And Verde builds that out further for the additional specialty markets that we serve. And we are seeing hands down, like the number one trend, the stay-at-home economy is resulting in a huge change, continued change with consumer behavior. I mean, 90% of Americans right now are reported to be spending more time online, obviously because of COVID. Last week we talked about the McKinsey report that showed a 10-year gain. So what experts were expecting e-commerce to grow in 10 years has happened in the last 5 months, I believe. So that, we're definitely seeing like e-commerce sales, according to Adobe Analytics, up 55% year over year for the first 7 months of 2020. Okay. So it's just crazy what's happening online. And I think we all know, it goes without saying, consumers will remain online and they will prefer e-commerce, especially as they're going into the holidays. And so I wanted to wrap up today's show by talking about how you can position your specialty business and brand in the best way as you're kind of going into the rush and onslaught of traffic, noise, attention grabbing that's about to befall us as consumers, but also as marketers and brand leaders and business leaders. So, Retail Touchpoints just published a report that said that 68% of retailers gained new e commerce consumers due to COVID-19. And they're gaining these, they're able to keep them when they have some kind of a social impact slant to their or community give back to their branding. I think we've gone over that ad nauseum across our podcast, our blog, and the few of these YouTube that we've just started to do these live shows. Um, so the interesting thing that did come out of this report is 46% of those people polled for retail touchpoints said e-commerce customers are making more frequent and larger purchases due to COVID-19. So think about stay-at-home economy. Think about if your business is positioned, obviously, in the specialty markets of outdoor endurance, cycling, snow, or any of the tertiary markets that Verde serves, like pet, overland, RV, marine, all of these you're seeing an incredible onslaught of people wanting to get outside. You're going to see them continue to want to get outside, even locally around their homes. So that is kind of how we look through the lens of this stay-at-home economy, right? Plus, we're all working from there, so we have to be very cognizant as brands in terms of how to continue to serve people through our content and through our brand experience virtually. So these things are not changing. These are things that you'll want to engineer into your strategy going into Q1 and Q2 of next year. But keep in mind, everything is about the consumer being online today. So you want to make sure everything is prepped and ready for them as they decide to go online to buy this year. And think about this. This is also important. People did have a difficult time trusting Amazon Prime earlier this year because Amazon, that marketplace, was completely overburdened. I should be putting this on, but I'm not going to. Completely overburdened during COVID, and they were shipping things late. So really the trust that they had spent decades establishing with their consumer with Prime started to erode. And also, they don't have the strongest social impact record. I know they started to do some interesting things in the fourth quarter of last year in terms of, carbon neutral and whatnot at Amazon. But keep in mind, the other thing that's super important to know that we talk about every week for a reason is you can land grab new consumers by tapping into loyalty. You can do that by having social impact, social cause tied to your brand, showing action around that, right? Through your social media, through your content. But also keep in mind, they want to have a frictionless experience. They are going through enough with COVID, and they also are getting super used to like everything coming from one place, curbside pickup, things being delivered to their home. So they're getting trained, our consumer, and we are consumers. So we're getting trained to want and expect selection, no friction, ease, 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 right? So anything you can do to like engineer a brand experience around that is going to be super helpful. Um, okay, but Retail Touchpoints is saying that the stay-at-home economy is going to shape the 2020 holiday season. Here we are in, not even the end of August, and we're starting to see brands like big retailers who are moving up their Black Friday and Cyber Monday sales, their holiday promotions. I think everybody, large and small, every brand, every business out there is worried about what the traffic and the behavior of the consumer is going to look like as we go into these traditionally super important weekends that lead us into the end of the year. So just keep in mind and watch diligently, watch your competition and what they're doing, watch their social feeds, see what they're going to be doing in terms of like holiday promotion, and make sure that you are very, very, very aware of what your competitive set is doing. um, so, there's really nothing new about this. As I've said multiple times, you've cross trained for this. You hopefully have a nimble team. You're ready for anything at this point, right? So, really just keep that mindset, but get aggro in terms of understanding like where's your competition, where exactly is your consumer base. If you have a really good email marketing channel relationship with your end consumer, your shopper, give them a quick survey and ask them what their thoughts are on holiday and how you can serve them better. I also want you to put yourself in the consumer's shoes a little bit by thinking about some of the things they're going to have to change around their holiday. Um, we all have special things that we love about holidays that really mean things that are emotional to us. Emblematic things like getting together with family or having specific rituals and traditions that literally are going to have to be replaced by Zoom this year because lots of people are not going to want to travel or it's not safe to do so, to be in front of older relatives, etc. So what can we do as specialty brands to supplant that, to actually make the holidays special, to make people look like they care on the level they do and they're able to show normally in person to their family. There's a lot there that you can pull out and engineer as a team with your specialty brand and business. That's a great way to, plan for and try and really make like emotional connection with your shoppers through holiday. Um, Keep in mind at verdepr.com/blog, we're going to have a report that talks about some of these trends with some ideas that goes into more depth than what I'm saying here today. But I wanted to just share with you that the report that we've been citing here from Retail Touchpoints, and you should check it out. It's in the caption. Very, very good report. There's three things I wanted to pull from that and share with you today. So, consumers are going to favor in store efficiency over entertainment or experience of any kind. Again, there's that friction component. Focus on safety and efficiency and use all of the relevant communication channels to get in front of them with that. Newsletters, social media, signs in your window, you name it. You want to have your people know that they are safe and that you have worked very hard to make that environment safe for them. So communicating regularly about how you're doing that is great. And please don't hesitate to check out, I think it's Channel Mastery episode number 141 with Ryan Ettram, and he's with Wintersteiger. There's two downloadable PDFs that Wintersteiger and Ryan's team have created around enabling rental centers and retailers to really have like best practices in this PDF that you can deploy in your store. So it's an awesome resource. Make sure you check that out. And then number two is, I'm a little hesitant to say this, but you kind of have to. Again, watching your consumer or your competitors, start earlier and spread out campaigns and deals that you normally might have like blocked around Black Friday and Cyber Monday and for the holidays. Experts across the board agree that retailers can prepare for these uncertainties around brick and mortar and just people purchasing Christmas presents or holiday gifts. People are going to be looking to do that sooner and they're going to do it online. Like, let's not even kid ourselves about that. We have retailers that we've heard are rolling out holiday campaigns as early as the end of September. Early October is probably not that, different from what we've seen in some previous years recently, but September is really, I think, when we're going to see that faucet turn on in terms of like holiday promotion and year end promotions. So here's another third point that I wanted to kind of close with here. Like the personal video, like think about how you can use some of the tech solutions such as Zoom that we have come to, start to use day to day to provide the missing magic of the holiday season. This kind of goes back to helping your consumers make up for what they're going to be missing out on in holiday 2020. You can recreate in store magic online. You can support consumers who decide to venture into the store. Maybe by enabling them to have appointments so they're able to go and have that experience. But think about harmonizing or orchestrating brand experience across channels for a specific consumer. You're going to go a long way to try and serve that actual target consumer more than everyone, right? You don't want to be remarkable to everyone. You want to be remarkable to your absolute target consumer. So think about how you can orchestrate experiences across multiple channels to do just that. So that is pretty much it. I know I didn't really touch on media. That's because we're going to dive into the media segment much more robustly. Next Wednesday, we have a lot to report in on there. So I wanted to just keep this light and quick today. And those are the news headlines that I'll be dissecting. Let's see. Next week, we're also going to be looking into advertising on social media, more TikTok, and a media update in terms of trends heading into the election and what consumers are believing in terms of what they're seeing and reading online. I also want to invite you to keep an eye on Verde's social media channels on our blog and on the Channel Mastery podcast. Today, the 19th of August, we dropped a brand new episode of the Channel Mastery podcast featuring Chris Steinkamp, who's the principal and founder of the Base Layer Group and also one of the co-founders of Protect Our Winters. So he is on the show today talking about how to genuinely build social impact campaigns that can be really, really just embraced by your team internally and by your fan base online. How to use your brand for positive change. Such an important topic right now. So that's one of the places that we're going to be going together. But Chris is a great guest. You're going to learn a ton from him, and that's at channelmastery.com. Okay. We also have, as I said, a great holiday trends blog post that'll be popping up on verdepr.com/blog. And of course, we start our webinar trainings that lead us into the launch of the Multi Channel Marketing Academy next week. Super excited about that. So much cool stuff that we'll be sharing, and I can't wait to share that with you and hear your feedback on it. And if you want to kind of get a heads up on that, you can join our community by opting in at channelmastery.com or verdepr.com. Join our newsletter and you'll get heads up on all of these free trainings that we're going to be offering leading into the September 15th course launch of the Multi-Channel Marketing Academy. All right, that's all I have for you today, everyone. I hope you have an awesome week. I look forward to seeing you back here next week. Thanks.